If you got your hair cut at another location, like I did, Locks of Love still offers the opportunity to donate at events like these. It took over 3 hours for police to evacuate the hostage situation, but by that time, the suspects had already escaped. UM is at it again, winning awards and topping charts. This past week, though, the U.S. News and World Report ranked UM number 47 college in the country. Graffiti is becoming a huge problem here in South Florida. Vandals are even taking their graffiti to federal property. Police told me the men broke in through these 2 double doors and then took off with over $500 in cash. Thank you, Laura. I'm here live atop the Bank United Center for the X Factor auditions here in Miami. And as you can see behind me, there's over 7,000 people waiting to get in. They've been waiting since 7 p.m. last night. It's almost 10 o'clock a.m. now. All right, I'm here with Michael Yo from E! Television, makes appearances on Chelsea lately and works at Y100. Michael, the energy of the crowd is obviously really high right now, but what's your energy like? Not all of the artists at the festival are local, so the ones who aren't bring a little piece of home to their work. The biggest known oil spill was the BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico last April. 11 oil rig workers were killed and more than 200 million gallons of oil poured into the Gulf. A blowout preventer that should have stopped the disaster failed. A testing firm hired by the government reported yesterday that the blame is now shifting away from the oil giant and toward those who built and maintained the device. And I'm Emily Wingrove. Thank you for joining us. Construction of a new student activities center on campus got the go-ahead after a $20 million donation from the Fairhome Foundation. But with the new building comes the destruction of a campus landmark. And Portugal needs a bailout. Its government admits that it needs financial help from fellow members of the European Union. A massive fire broke out last night in a fuel storage area of Miami International Airport. Dozens of flights were canceled this morning as a result. The fire broke out at about 11 p.m. in the airport's fuel farm and affected the fuel supply for aircrafts. Fire officials called the blaze very significant and credited firefighters with preventing the flames from spreading. The fire did not travel to any terminals or runways and no injuries were reported. On a much lighter note, UM welcomed thousands of aspiring performers this week. It was the audition for Fox's new talent search TV show called The X Factor. I ventured over to the Bank United Center to see what it was all about. The American Idol of the UK is in Miami. Fox's X Factor took over the University of Miami's Bank United Center, and all walks of life made it out for the competition.
I decided long
change what they believe.
You're simply the best.
My entire life I've always wanted to be a singer.
X Factor may seem like other talent shows, but what sets it apart from the others is that there's a live audience of thousands. They have to impress the fans as well as the judges. Fox is not only looking for the next X Factor, but they're looking for 2 more judges to accompany Simon Cowell and L.A. Reid.
There's going to be 4 judges on the show, so there's 2 empty seats at the moment.
The auditions are only being held in 6 U.S. cities, and in Miami, over 7,000 people showed up.
And I'm really thankful to the X Factor to come to Miami and celebrate with us our culture.
It's been a long wait, 3 days sleeping outside, and I'm ready.
Even Sebastian made it out to the auditions, but special guest Gloria Estefan surprised the crowd with words of advice.
Originality, be yourself, something that stands apart, because you can be perfection singing, but if there's nothing of you coming through, it's a little harder.
The X Factor premieres on the Fox network in the fall.
UMTV's Emily Wingrove joins us live with more.
One of those unique challenges comes during graduation season. International students are forced to deal with what they're going to do once their visa has expired. I talked to students about that and other aspects of their life on campus. UM hosts nearly 3,000 international students and scholars every year from over 100 different countries. The experience of studying in a foreign country can be fun and exciting, but it can also be difficult.
It's been interesting. It's been nice to meet people from everywhere in the world, but it's been very with ups and downs. But in general, the experience is awesome.
International students must be admitted through international admissions, but that's just one step. They need to obtain the proper visa and immigration status to cross the border. I feel like there are a lot of things that aren't explicitly stated on a website of how you're supposed to go about getting all your paperwork done. So it is a learning process. Once in the United States, the next obstacle is adapting to the American way of life.
It's big of a culture shock.
The University of Miami encourages its international students to feel a little bit more at home with events like International Thanksgiving. The students are given the opportunity to perform their native music and cook their native food. But some students don't stay in America for the holidays.
In Jamaica, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving, so I don't need to really be with my family. So I go with my friends' families, which, you know, is always really fun to see how they do things, you know.
This past week, I had my first real American Thanksgiving. I went home with one of my roommates, and it puts the Canadian Thanksgiving to shame.
The student visas are only valid during a student's education. After the student graduates, they must go home, get a job, or marry an American. Christina Flores, Assistant Director of International Student and Scholar Services, told UMTV that wanting to stay in the States is commonplace.
I would say a vast majority want to stay and at least have that first year experience.
It's hard with now I've got friends here, now I have a boyfriend here that I just don't know what the next step is.
There are many people like myself who would love to stay here.
If you lose this opportunity, you probably won't get it back.
For those international students who aren't graduating anytime soon, the University of Miami will feel their holiday spirit from around the world. Reporting live, I'm Emily Wingrove. Back to the news desk.